One day, when the glory comes, it'll be ours, it'll be ours. Oh. One day, when the glory comes, we will be sure, we will be sure. Glory, glory, glory.
To the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Every day women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, his spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it goes down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots, we on the ground, the camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
Oh, one day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours.
One day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory. Oh, glory. Oh, glory.
Now the war is not over, victory is won, but we'll fight on to the finish, and then when it's all done, we'll cry glory.
Give me glory. Give me glory. Give me
every man, woman, and child. Even Jesus got his crown in front of a crowd. They march with the torch, but we gon' run with it now. Never look back, we done gone hundreds of miles. From dark roads he rose to become a hero. Facing the League of Justice, his power was the people. Enemy is lethal, that king become regal. Saw the face of Jim Crow under that bald eagle. Watching our hearts beat through riots and hard fires and sirens and live wires. Blood on our black tires as we scream. Our era trying to look for the peace, clinging to every single belief that we needed to preach. Yes, we are the picket lines intertwined with our arms open. Churches that burned wild, the psalms that we all spoke with. Lives that we keep mourning, our voice and our own story. Malcolm, Martin, Sandra, Freddie, yeah, we are the glory like.
One day, when the glory comes, it'll be ours, it'll be.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us at Walls, where our pastor is the Reverend Dr. Dairl Jr. I'm your hostess, Miss Sabrina Smith. As we celebrate Black awareness and accomplishments, we will hear echoes of past, present, and future endeavors of the ministry here at Walls AME Zion Church. I guess we'll recall, reflect, inspire, and encourage us to continue the journey. Enjoy and glean from this presentation. Echoes from Walls Memorial, AME Zion Church.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Good day and welcome. We're bringing now to the stage none other than the infamous Miss Bobby Jean Parks. So glad to have you today joining our Black History Walls History Conversations. And Miss Parks, as we start this conversation, won't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your family dynamics, and things of that nature, and then we'll get started in some of the Walls history questions.
Good morning, Pastor. I am Bobby Parks, as you say, and I'm a native Charlottean, one of very few that you will see. I grew up in Charlotte, attended the elementary high school here in Charlotte, Johnson C. Smith here in Charlotte, and I've just been and graduated from Central Piedmont Community College. My family is the Leak family. My mom used to sing in her church choir. I mean, I grew up, most of the people in my family are from the music. They are in church choirs or led hymn choirs and that sort of thing, or cousin played the piano somewhere. And I play a little piano, but mostly directing the choirs.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, Miss Parks, won't you tell us, how did you become connected with the Walls Church? Come on, tell us a little bit about that, and what was it called when you came on board?
Okay, I did not say, but I attended Gethsemane Baptist Church as a kid. I grew up there, and so I grew up as a Baptist.
All right.
But Mother Walls had a musician by the name of Thelma Cochran. She's now Thelma Cochran Currents. And she was playing for Mother Walls, but she needed someone to fill in for her. So she called me and asked me if I would fill in. And I did. I think at that time she was really disconnecting herself from Walls. And I ended up playing for Walls Memorial on the first Sunday of all Sundays, where you have to know all the communion rituals and everything and responses. Yes, so I was playing for the church choir, which was considered the church choir. Church choir sang hymns and spirituals and just a tad bit of gospel.
Okay.
And so that was working fine for me.
Wonderful.
Yes. And then Mr. Williams, they had him come, and he was playing for those who were considered youngsters at the time. They were the young people of the church. So he was playing for the young people, and I was playing for the old people.
How about that? So this is Mother Walls when you come on board. And you mentioned you came on the first Sunday. So did you all sing the responses in the communion ritual?
Everything, all of the responses, yes. And at that time, Reverend Houston was the pastor.
All right.
And he didn't skip anything. Everything that's in the back of the hymn book for the ritual, we did it.
Wonderful.
So that was on the first Sunday, and that was at Mother Walls before we moved over to Bancroft Street.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, how many choir members were you overseeing at that time?
You were breaking
Five,
up a
10.
little.
Okay. Was it about 5 choir members, 10 choir members, 15? What would you say?
Oh, for at that between 10 and 12.
Okay, okay.
10 and 12 regulars. Yes.
Now,
I
and
remember
did you
Miss
all go for it?
I remember I guess Miss Molly Massey is about the only one who still who was part of that choir. Miss Molly Massey. Yes, she was one of my lead singers.
My Lord.
Yeah, she and Miss Thelma Hamer. Miss Hamer is deceased now, but Molly Massey joined there, and she's the only one I think who exists now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, if your choir was caught in the jam and it was time for y'all to sing, nobody else was available to sing, what songs would y'all sing that y'all didn't need any practice for? You know you could just go for it. What song would you sing?
Yes, God is real. Yes, God is real. He's really, I can feel him in my soul.
That's right. That's right.
Oh yes, we could do yes, God is real. And see, with that choir, we would sing like hymns and the Martin and Martin spirituals of the day, you know.
My.
None of that real fast stuff.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yes. And one song that I loved because my mom sang it at Gethsemane Baptist was God Specializes. Ooh. And so I tried to get Miss Hamer to sing God Specializes because I do and love that song.
Have you any rivers?
Yes. That you think are impossible.
Come on. Have you that you cannot tunnel through? God specializes.
God specializes in things that are impossible.
And he will
do.
Yes, he will.
What no other power can do.
Amen. That's all right. So how many musicians? Was it just you and Worth? Was there tambourine players? Was there any type of percussion? What kind of instruments did you all utilize?
We had the piano and the organ, and that was it.
All right.
Piano and organ, and that sufficed at the time that we were in. Now, when we moved over to Walls and Walls name change, we did a switcheroo.
Okay.
I started playing for the youngsters, and Worth was playing for the old people, which was in the church choir.
Okay.
And you can tell by the structure of our current choir log, we had enough people to fill up all those seats in the choir, currently in the choir stand. And I took the young people, and I had like the Medley children, the Massey children, the Whites, Reverend J.T. White, you know, and his clan. Let's see, I had the Bellingers, and did I say Medleys, the McCullough, you know, Yvonne, you know, the McCulloughs. So most of Rick Riley and Vincent Riley and Myra Riley, I had a nice group, and they all could either read music or They played in their bands, and so I didn't have to do much teaching about parts, but we had the harmony.
Hallelujah. That's all right.
Yes.
That's all right.
Yes.
Now, I've been thumbing through some pictures. And then somebody said something about a J.T. White ensemble of sorts. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Those are the names of the members who were the J.T. White singers.
Okay.
All of those that I named, they were the J.T. White singers.
Oh.
And we were a very proud group. I was proud of that group. I played for that group and directed them. I'll give you a laugh. When we started that group and we had a concert, and we used some shirts with tuxedo shirts with the ruffles on it.
All right now.
And Rico was too young to be a part of the group. And he was upset because he wanted to wear one of those shirts with the ruffles on it. But he eventually got old enough to join the group.
Oh, Miss
Lord.
told me that. I know it's gonna be the first person I'll call when we get off this interview.
He'll tell you. And that's one thing I wanted to highlight too, was the fact that we ended up, out of my J.T. White singers, we ended up with 2 ministers, and that's Rico and Vincent Riley.
Yes.
And they still consider Walls as their home church.
That's right. Pastor White. Yes. Pastor White calls me his pastor. Sometimes I look around to see who he's talked to, and I remember. Now, Pastor Henrico White is a phenomenal musician. I like to think you had a hand in that rearing. Is that accurate?
He says that I had some influence, and I would let him sit down at the piano and try to show from my little bit of knowledge, and show him how to play certain things. But he surpassed me eventually in being able to play.
Now, how old is he when he's sitting beside you tickling on the ivory?
Well, he actually took piano lessons at First Presbyterian downtown, which are our other family members. Mm-hmm. And they had a music department. And I think this is where he was taking some lessons. Okay. And he was around, I guess, 6th or 7th grade, if that old.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was always trying, whether it was me or Worth or any other visiting musicians, he was always right there at the piano watching. And until he became accomplished. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, Miss Parks, yes, you have been very generous with your time. Thank you again for joining us. And as we close our time of sharing, as I said, I was looking through some pictures and I found that J.T. White ensemble. And I understand maybe in the last 10 years or so, you guys had a reunion. As we close, can you kind of tell us about that and what happened about that?
Yes, we did. We had a reunion. I cannot determine time now. This pandemic has really got me out of being the ability to determine whether it's been 2 years or 3 years or what. But we did have a reunion, and it turned out very well. Somebody I know that it was recorded. DeVera's husband, oh yes, DeVera was part of this party. DeVera's husband made a recording of it, and I'll try to get it so that that it it can be heard. We had quite a few. We had a choir stand full of people who sang as J.T. White singers to return to sing for our reunion. It was good.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a wonderful conversation with Miss Bobby Parks. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Okay, Pastor. Thanks for asking.